Yes, Assassin's Creed Mirage is officially revealed for 2023. It's a $50 game, so not full priced. It is cross-gen with a free upgrade from PS4 to PS5, Xbox One to Xbox Series, and it's of course also coming to PC. You already see the amazing announcement trailer right here, and I was able to witness a presentation for the game before the reveal and also interview one of the developers who was really able to share a ton of details on Mirage that I want to tell you in this video. So of course, if you are excited or curious, then leave a like, it would really show your support. Subscribe for everything on Assassin's Creed Mirage. I of course got way more content coming your way, and let's go. Yes, you already see it in the footage. We're going back to the roots of the series. They talked about 3 core gameplay pillars for Mirage: stealth, parkour, and assassinations. It takes place in 861. We play a young Basim. This is 20 years before Valhalla. He's a skilled street thief at the start of the game, living in Baghdad, the city we get to explore as well. And during this point in time, it was really the center of the world, key place for knowledge, art, and a hub for people from many different cultures and religions. And it's Basim's playground, although it doesn't go as well at first, as we also see in the trailer, but luckily the Hidden Ones notice that he has some potential, and here we see him get saved by his soon-to-be mentor, Roshan, a 50-year-old and former Persian slave who is now a master assassin. She's being voiced by Shohreh Aghdashloo, who you can know from Destiny and Mass Effect for example, and her unique voice already makes Roshan stand out, as we hear during the trailer.
Are you ready to leave your life behind and walk the path of shadows?
This is early on in the game, as we don't start in Baghdad, but are actually first trained to become an assassin apprentice in a remote location called Alamut. You might know it. It's Persian for Eagle's Nest. This is an Hidden Ones fortress that I think was also mentioned in Valhalla in one of Hytem's Hidden Ones bureau letters, but during Mirage it's still under construction, as we also see in the trailer. So here we will likely learn what it means to be an assassin, do what it takes to use a hidden blade, and then return to Baghdad to fight the Order of the Ancients that of course later on become the Templars. Yes, social stealth is back, although Ubisoft did not want to share a lot of details about this yet, and what you see here is something unique to Basim called Assassin's Focus. This lets him slow down the time to perform multiple quick assassinations after each other. We get this ability early on in the game and can then upgrade it throughout our journey. I think to chain to more enemies, although Ubisoft did not want to confirm it one way or the other. We also have a lot of tools we can use, including a smoke bomb to disappear from enemy's sight. We can place mines and lure enemies into them, which should be fun. We can also use the environment, like of course it's a cinematic trailer, but it's based on assets from the game, like the enemies, the city, and the things Basim can do. Like yes, while running away from enemies, we can destroy a shop to have it fall on enemies and block their path. There will also be a blow dart, noisemakers, and other gadgets that again we should be able to improve. Like it's not an RPG, it's more an action-adventure game, but we can still learn new moves and upgrade our items. I asked, and yes, all our assassinations will be a one-hit kill again, which of course is huge, and also most of the assassination animations are brand new for Mirage. They also seemingly improved and reworked the detection system of enemies. As said before, I would not be surprised if the improvements we saw post-launch to Valhalla Stealth are being used here as well, as Mirage is of course built with the Valhalla tools. But seems like they improved it even further with more feedback for the player. We should be able to see who is tracking us and also how far away they are, which sounds pretty handy. And we of course see these roots from Valhalla back in the fact that we can also control an eagle in this game. His name is Enkidu. It does seem to function a bit more like Origins and Odyssey though, because we can tag enemies and resources again, while in Valhalla we could of course only scout the environment. There's also a new feature though, namely special archers that will shoot at the bird, and when this happens he will fly away and can only return to the area after we deal with these rangers. So it's up to us, do we kill the archers and then scout the area with our eagle, or go in completely blind? And yes, maybe you already noticed it, but we have no bow in this game, only throwing knives as a ranged option. So once again, approaching the situations will be way more like the older games in Mirage. Now I did learn that we also have something called Thieves Sense, so I'm not sure how it works, but I don't think it will be similar to the pulse from Eivor, as then we will just be able to spot enemies that way and not need the bird. It might be like Origins and Odyssey, where you can only scan for loot, but not for targets. That also seems to apply better to the name Thieves Sense, but when I of course know more, I will let you know here. Running away from enemies will be once again a big part of the gameplay loop in Mirage, so that means that parkour plays a bigger role as well. We saw our mentor, Roshan, do a corner swing, like those will be available for us to use as well, and brand new is the pole vault. So we can cross big gaps and obstacles, like we also saw in Aladdin, for example. Baghdad should be more designed with parkour in mind. Similar to older games, we can hide on rooftops again, and they've overall sped up the pace of the parkour, which is very interesting. I think they compare it to Valhalla, so we should overall feel more agile while moving through the city, which sounds great. So yes, Baghdad is our open world playground. There will be side content, although Ubisoft did not want to talk about specifics just yet. It is still worth noting though that this will be way more narrative driven and linear compared to the recent RPG games. Again, especially early on in Alamut, really seems to be a straight path where we will do what it takes to become a hidden one, and then we go to Baghdad. And developers did confirm that there will be moments where we can choose the order in which we're able to tackle the missions, so that is likely once we've reached the city. And inside some story chapters, there will also be multiple ways to play them, because black box missions are back for the big assassinations we have to perform. We had of course these in Siege of Paris most recently, but I asked and it seems like they're way more fleshed out this time and more inspired by Unity and Syndicate. They did not want to share any specifics, but we can of course kinda guess we will have to look for opportunities in the area, and there will be multiple ways to approach and kill the target. Now there's sadly no way to replay missions in Mirage from the menu, and also no New Game Plus, so only like making saves throughout your journey or replaying the whole game will let you see different ways you can approach each mission, but you could argue that it does make the game a bit more replayable. Yes, confession rooms are also back after assassinating these special targets, and the trailer hints at the fact that this is also where we will engage with Basim's nightmare. Now I don't want to spoil too much for if you haven't played Valhalla, but Basim will change over the course of Mirage, and we saw this kind of like mythical creature here, but it is worth noting that we should not expect a lot of mythical content in this game. Like, it will of course be way more grounded compared to Valhalla and Odyssey, but this tease that we saw at the end of the trailer should still be very central to the evolution of Basim, even though it's only appearing in his mental space, so mostly inside his head. I really think this could add like another layer on top of the already cool Let's Become a Hidden One story, so I'm curious how it will shake out. One big part from the older games is missing though in Mirage, and that is the modern day. So while it should be clear when we begin the game that someone is in the Animus, we will not be able to leave the Animus during Mirage. So we will just stay in Baghdad, although we will get a little bit of modern day at the end of the game. So basically only at the start and the end. Now I did ask if Darby, the narrative director on Valhalla, is involved in Mirage somehow. He's of course really known for his involvement in the Assassin's Creed lore and the modern day parts of Assassin's Creed. He actually created Basim. So he's not part of the development team on Mirage, but he did act as a consultant on Basim as a character, which of course awesome to hear. Mirage being led by Ubisoft Bordeaux, who has 400 plus developers. Their most recent project was the Wrath of the Druids DLC, but they also got help from studios like Montreal, Singapore and Sofia. And I by the way started a giveaway for Mirage, which you can enter via the link in the pinned comment, and you also have to be a subscriber of the channel if you want to participate. We will hear the exact release date later on. There were rumors that it was going to be May or June, but maybe it's later. Again, all they said is 2023. Just totally subscribe for everything on Assassin's Creed Mirage. I got way more info that I will be sharing really soon. Also regarding that Prince of Persia Deluxe Edition pack that you might have seen. I got a ton of other info as well, so stay tuned for that. A like on this video would really help me out. And totally check out my other big video on the future of Assassin's Creed Beyond Mirage. This was also just announced. That video will be up really rapidly after this one. So if it's already up, you can watch it by clicking on the screen. Otherwise, keep an eye on the channel. I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.